make sure that you tighten the lower waist straps and the upper shoulder straps of the crew harness system. Copy.
On your screen now, you can see the gantry arms as they retract from around the Soyuz. And hello everyone from the International Space Station Flight Control Room. This is Mission Control Houston. I'm NASA's Sandra Jones. And here in Mission Control Houston, the team continues to watch over the Expedition 66 crew and the station systems in preparation to support the arrival of Soyuz MS-21 later today.
The push-to-talk button is pressed down.
The space station population will increase from 7 to 10 crew members with the addition of Oleg Artemyev, Denis Matveyev, and Sergei Korsak.
We're standing by for your report on
These three are about to begin their planned two-orbit flight to the International Space Station, with docking scheduled a little more than 3 hours after launch at 12:05 p.m. Central Time, 2:05 p.m. Central Time, 12:05 a.m. in Байконур. The Soyuz MS-21 spacecraft will be docking with the Prishal docking port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the space station. The Soyuz MS-21 crew will join the 7 current station residents on board, which include NASA astronauts Mark Vande Hei, Raj Achari, Kayla Barron, and Tom Marshburn, as well as European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer and Russian cosmonauts Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov. With each passing second, NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei continues to break the record for longest single spaceflight by an American. And when he returns to Earth on March 30th, he will have spent a grand total of 355 days in space.
Launch escape system is armed. Copy. Launch escape system is armed.
Here in Houston, the team in Mission Control will be monitoring today's launch and getting updates on the flight from their Russian counterparts. The flight director today is Greg Whitney, and he'll be on console for today's launch.
В темном небе кометы светятся, космонавтам такое нравится. Я сижу на окне под звездами, жду удачи, считаю удачи. Для того небеса и созданы, от того я теперь и плачу. Как звезду полжизни, самую свободу. Я жду небо, оно льет воду. Как звезду
Don, this is launch lead. Launch minus 30. Readiness is declared. Copy. 30 minutes remaining to launch.
are now approaching 34 minutes until today's launch of the Soyuz MS-21.
Launch lead. Everything matches the onboard procedure on the display copy, and info LEDs are also on copy.
Третьим перекрестком, и оттуда строго к югу всадник золотою саблей травы густо сеет, звезды слышишь, гроздями роняет небо, исправя зерно стальное, горные лихие тропы, покрывая пеленою дороги сплелись тугой клубок влюбленных змей, и отдыхания вулкана в туманах немеет крыло лукавых змей. Мы все равно тебя сильней, и у огней небесных стран сегодня будет тепло. Третьего причала сизый парус белый берет небо от начала до рассвета рваной раны, слышишь? Море омывает шрамы, осыпая крупной солью струки цвета бычьей крови, словно память древней боли. Дороги сплелись тугой клубок влюбленных дней, и отдыхания вулкана в туманах немеет крыло лукавых змей. Все равно себя сильнее.
Everything still proceeding as planned today ahead of the launch of 3 Russian cosmonauts to the International Space Station. Launch is scheduled for 10:55 and 18 seconds Central Time, which is 8:55 and 18 seconds p.m. in Байконур. Approaching the 30-minute mark to today's launch, this view of the Russian Mission Control Center in Koryov on the outskirts of Moscow, as the teams there continue to monitor and track towards launch just about 30 minutes from now.
Go ahead. Is selected on info control panel 1, and KSP command field right is selected on info 2, control panel 2, copy.
Этот закон давно известен, мне интересен мир без песен, но если даже дождь идет с утра, надо, чтобы люди точно знали, нет оснований для печали, завтра все будет лучше, чем вчера. Проснись и пой, попробуй в жизни хоть раз не выпускать улыбку из открытых глаз. Пускай капризен успех, он выбирает из тех, кто может первым посмеяться над собой. Пой, засыпая, пой, во сне проснись и пой. Все позабудь, что миновало, все, что упало, что пропало, все, что ушло, обратно не вернешь. Только туда и нет обратно, то, что сейчас невероятно, завтра наверняка произойдет. Проснись и пой, попробуй в жизни хоть раз не выпускать улыбку из открытых глаз. Пускай капризен успех, он выбирает из тех, кто может первым посмеяться над собой. Пой, засыпая, пой, во сне проснись и пой.
Наблюдаем командира корабля и бортинженера в телекамере СА.
We can see the flight engineers and the Soyuz commander on the ESA descent module camera view.
We are now less than 28 minutes away from the launch of 3 Russian cosmonauts to the International Space Station.
Проснись и пой, попробуй в жизни хоть раз не выпускать улыбку из открытых глаз. Пускай капризен успех, он выбирает из тех, кто может первым посмеяться над собой. Пой, засыпая, пой, во сне проснись и пой.
Launch lead, we just got a message that the water partial pressure is 20.2 copy, 20.0 correction, 20.0, and the red LED is on. Copy.
Don't launch lead. You can select any displays on the info panel. Copy. You give a go to select for displays on the info panel.
Continuing to move closer to launch today, scheduled at 10:55 and 18 seconds Central Time, 8:55 and 18 seconds p.m. in Байконур. No issues have been tracked throughout the day, and the rocket is fully fueled and ready for launch. Following launch today, the trio of cosmonauts will complete a 2-orbit flight to the International Space Station, with docking scheduled a little more than 3 hours after launch at 2:05 p.m. Central Time. The Soyuz MS-21 will be docking with the pre-Shal docking port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the space station. When the crew arrives at the International Space Station, they will join the 7 current station residents on board. At this hour, the crew aboard the International Space Station is awake and completing tasks for their day, including exercising and preparing for an upcoming spacewalk. On Wednesday, March 23rd, 2 astronauts will step out the space station hatch for a spacewalk to replace a radiator beam valve module hose and complete other upgrades to the space station.
The camera is off, deactivated, copy, launch lead.
Now approaching the 20-minute mark until liftoff of 3 Russian cosmonauts to the International Space Station. Launch is scheduled for 10:55 and 18 seconds a.m. Central Time this morning.
Dawn launch lead. It's 16 minutes until launch. Copy. Launch lead. Dawn, go ahead. The camera that is installed on the panel stopped blinking. So the other camera is operational, but the one that is on the panel stopped blinking. Copy. Launch lead done. Go ahead. I tried to activate the camera and it, came alive. Copy. Maybe some issue with the battery. You don't have to do anything with it. Done. Copy. Launch lead done. Another message regarding water. 1982, 19.9. Come again. Again, water signal. 19.9. Copy done.
And this is a live view of the Soyuz on the launch pad in Байконур. Everything still continuing to move along as planned, as launch is targeting 10:55 and 18 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:55 and 18 seconds p.m. in Байконур.
Done. Launch lead 10 minutes until launch. Copy.
At this time, the vehicle is fully fueled and ready for launch, and no issues have been tracked throughout the day.
Readiness on the Kosmos display number 18. Copy.
Three Russian cosmonauts, Oleg Артемьев, Denis Matveev, and Sergei Korsakov, are about to begin their journey to the International Space Station less than 15 minutes from now. They will complete a planned 2-orbit flight to the International Space Station with docking scheduled a little more than 3 hours after launch at 2:05 p.m. Central Time. The Soyuz MS-21 spacecraft will be docking with the Prishal docking port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the space station. Now under 12 minutes until today's launch of the Soyuz MS-21.
Третьему. Связи. Объявлена готовность 5 минут. Закрыть гермос.
Don't launch lead 5 minutes until launch. Close your helmets. Copy. Closing helmets. Launch lead. Helmets are closed. KSS rescue aids are ready. Copy. We see you on camera in descent module. The commander and flight engineer.
And you just heard that call that the crew members are closing their helmets, which puts them on suit oxygen ahead of today's launch, scheduled for 10:55 and 18 seconds Central Time. Now less than 10 minutes until launch.
Don't launch late, 1 minute until launch. Everything is according to the schedule. Control is on board, and I will provide the running commentary of the launch. Launch lead, Don, I copy all. Everything is good on board, and we are ready for launch.
And now at this point in the countdown, the Soyuz first and second stage engines are ready for launch.
Inserted. Copy.
And the launch key has been inserted in the launch bunker to transition the launch sequence into automatic mode. At the time of launch, the International Space Station will be flying over northern Uzbekistan, and about 30 seconds after launch, the International Space Station will fly directly over the Байконур cosmodrome. This will allow the International Space Station to leapfrog ahead of the Soyuz during the booster's climb to orbit.
Station Houston on Space Ground 2, no response required. We're about 5 minutes out from the Soyuz launch. We are uplinking NASA TV if you want to follow.
Now less than 5 minutes until launch, the systems have been switched to onboard power and the commander's cockpit displays and controls are activated. Earlier, the crew members closed their helmets, which put them on suit oxygen. Still tracking no issues ahead of today's launch. Less than 4 minutes until launch today, the fuel lines and other elements of the rocket engines are being purged with nitrogen to fireproof them by removing vapors of fuel and oxidizer. Coming up shortly, the booster's fuel tanks will be pressurized for flight.
Наддув. Принято.
Pressurization initiated. Copy.
Командира корабля и борт-инженера.
We can see commander and flight engineer on our screens. From,
and the booster fuel tanks are now being pressurized for flight. "90 seconds until launch. And the ground propellant feed has now been terminated. Soyuz now on internal power.
Земля, борт.
Vehicle to internal power. Copy.
First umbilical tower has separated from the booster, and we have auto sequence start.
Пуск.
Auto sequence initiated.
Зажигание.
Ignition.
Предварительное.
Second umbilical
Launch command
tower
has been
separate.
issued.
Промежуточное.
Engine turbo pump set flight speed. Engines at maximum thrust and liftoff.
Liftoff of the Soyuz
We are
MS-21.
off. So let's work in space together.
Параметры управляют системой ракеты достигли в норме.
All the parameters of the launch vehicle are nominal. Copy. Everything is well on board and the crew
30
is
seconds
doing
into flight, everything going as planned. At this second, the International Space Station is flying directly over the Байконур cosmodrome.
Yes.
One minute into today's flight, continuing to hear good calls.
60 секунд
60 seconds into the
Velocity
flight,
is over
your
1,100 miles per
are
hour.
Nominal. Copy. Everything is good on board. The crew is feeling well.
Секунд двигатели первой и второй ступени работают устойчиво.
The thrusters of the first and second stage are firing nominally. Everything is stable. Copy.
Continuing to hear good calls, everything proceeding nominally.
First stage, copy. First stage separation.
Стабилизация изделия устойчива.
And the 4
130
strap-on
seconds
boosters
into
have
the
been
flight.
jettisoned.
All the KGO parameters are nominal. The pressure is 811. All parameters are nominal.
150. Двигатель второй ступени работает устойчиво.
150 seconds into the flight, the thrusters of the second stage are firing nominally. Copy. So the jettisoning of the launch shroud. Yeah, we have the flag of
This view from the
control
Soyuz
system,
MS-21 as it
flight. Copy.
continues its climb uphill, everything proceeding as planned.
Стабилизация изделия устойчива.
150 seconds into the flight, the vehicle is stable. Copy. Everything is good on board. All the parameters are nominal. Copy.
The Soyuz core stage is performing as expected.
Параметры
210 seconds into the flight.
This stage will continue to burn until the 4-minute 43-second mark into flight. Now just about 3 minutes and 45 seconds and counting into today's flight of Soyuz MS-21.
Двигатель второй ступени.
240 seconds into the flight. Second stage engines are operating nominally. Copy.
Second stage engine performing as expected. This view from the upper stage camera of the Soyuz rocket, everything continuing to proceed as expected. Now 4 minutes and 37 seconds into today's flight.
Nominal copy and standing by for GK2 second stage engine cut-off command. GK2 main engine cut-off command confirmed. Second stage separation confirmed.
The core booster now separating.
Стабилизация изделия устойчива.
310 seconds.
Soyuz now being propelled by the single engine of the Soyuz third stage.
Copy. Everything is fine on board, and the crew is feeling great.
Параметры носовых систем норма.
Onboard system parameters are nominal. Copy.
Soyuz still performing as expected.
360 seconds into the flight. Pitch, yaw, and roll parameters are nominal. Copy, and the crew is feeling excellent.
Soyuz now traveling over 11,000 miles per hour.
The flight and the launch vehicle is steady. Copy.
The next milestone that we'll be looking towards is third stage cutoff and separation, slated to occur at the 8-minute, 46-second mark into today's flight. We're now 7 minutes and 20 seconds into the launch of Soyuz MS-21, headed to the International Space Station with 3 Russian cosmonauts on board.
Report on the on-board system parameters. Water partial pressure is 20.2. Copy, 20.2.
$470.
470 seconds into the flight. Third stage engines operating nominally. Copy. Launch lead. Everything is fine.
Soyuz continuing to perform as expected.
Copy.
Now coming up on third stage shutdown.
Seconds into the flight. Getting ready for third stage separation.
510.
510 seconds into the flight.
520.
520 seconds into the flight.
530.
530 seconds into the flight.
Есть контакт отделения.
Stage 3 separation is confirmed. And congratulations on the successful orbital insertion, and I will...
And we have confirmation of spacecraft separation.
Don, this is Moscow.
The Soyuz capsule and crew inside now are safely in orbit, and the spacecraft is automatically executing its pre-programmed commands to deploy the antennas and solar arrays.
This is MCC Moscow. Come in.
Дон, это по Москвы, как вас слышно?
John, this is MCC Moscow. How do you read me?
And we do have confirmation of solar array and antenna deploy.
Moscow, this is Don. How do you read me? Loud and clear. How me? Hello, I have you loud and clear. We're feeling great. Main engine separation was completed on time. And copy. Copy. The dynamic operations are in progress. TV system is on.
Принято, выдали в КЛТВ.
Copy. You send the command to activate the TV system, and we're standing by for the air mode. Copy. And did you close the RPV 1 and 2 airflow regulators? Yes, that's correct. And thermal control sensors are on. And did you complete the test as well? Yes, we did complete the test, and we're now on page 36. Copy all, and we're standing by for your measurement on page 35. At 19:04:37, sub pressure is 789. Bow pressure is 826.
And with Soyuz lifting off from Site 31 at the launch pad in Байконур at 10:55 a.m. and completing a nominal flight uphill, Soyuz is now safely in orbit, and that will wrap our launch coverage for today. Soyuz will complete 2 orbits around the Earth before docking to the International Space Station. We'll be live on air covering docking, and our docking coverage will begin at 1:15 p.m. Central Time, with the docking scheduled to occur around 2:05 p.m. Central Time. We hope you'll stick around and join us then. For now, this is Mission Control Houston.